everybody to the Single and Stiletto Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima, and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Mr. Lucario, and he's a dating coach for both men and women at MrLucario.com. And I'm so excited to have him here today, because today we're talking about what attracts a man. And it's always great for my audience to hear straight from a guy what really attracts a man. But before we jump into the topic, Mr. Lucario, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and how you became a dating coach.
All right, cool. Definitely. I'm a dating and life coach. I've been doing this for about 7 years now. I've been doing it because I was actually helping out my friends and family first, in their dating lives, because I was a serial dater. I was always dating, I kind of knew the game and everything like that. And, I started helping men out first, and then I started to help women out. Mm-hmm. And basically I started doing YouTube videos, articles for different sites. And then I was getting a lot of emails from different people all across the world that was, asking for advice. And I was helping out a lot of different people and getting a lot of good feedback. So, I like to help people out. And it's just a good thing to do. It's fun. And, I like to make that happen.
Exactly. I think that's why we all become dating coaches, is because we really like helping people.
Right.
So let's talk about what attracts a man. Tell us.
Right. Well, it's a couple of things. I would say, just on the surface, of course, this might be obvious, but of course, looks, the way that a woman looks attracts a guy. And I always tell women this, because women, they think that they need to be the best looking woman in order to attract. They're like, well, I'm not a supermodel, and it's not even about that. Men, we have different, types of women that we like. Right. So the thing I always tell women is that to look your best, you know what I mean? Look the best that you look and be the best that you are. And that's the type of, and guys are going to be attracted to you, so it's not like you have to be a supermodel or the best looking woman, but men are visual and men are attracted to the way you look. So I always tell women to, try to, keep their look up and try to keep the look game up. And then things, it's going to be easier for you to attract those guys versus if you're kind of just slacking on your looks, So.
Exactly. And I liked how you said, be the best that you can be. Don't try to be the supermodel or whatever. Right. Just be the best version of yourself.
Right. Exactly. Because a lot of women get stressed out by that. They're like, well, I don't look this way. I don't look like that. And they think that all men want just this same thing. And it's not, it's not true. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I would say another thing that men are attracted to is a woman who has a good attitude, a very pleasant attitude. I always stress this, that, your attitude is very important, because that's the energy that you're bringing to the relationship. That's the energy that you're bringing when he's around you. And he wants to, he's attracted to a woman who has that, because then it makes him feel like, oh, wow, this woman is actually, bringing, enjoyment and positivity to my life, and that's going to attract them. So when a guy first meets you, and the guy's talking to you, even, guys, let's say, for example, sometimes a guy might talk to you and you're not that interested in him, so you might, reject them or whatever. Guys even appreciate when a woman rejects them nicely, we're like, okay, cool, it's not so bad, instead of a woman kind of just yelling at him, you know what I mean? So it's just generally men like when a woman has a very pleasant attitude and is just, a nice person to be around, and sometimes that even trumps just your looks, because a guy might say, well, she's not necessarily my type, but her attitude and the way she presents herself makes me, I'm more attracted to her now for some reason, and that's because of that attitude,
Exactly. And I think that's so important, because I can't tell you how many times I hear women that they're tired of dating and they're getting out there and they're just like, there's no good men out there. And when you go out with that attitude, even though it's in your subconscious, I'm telling you, guys pick up on that.
Right.
Because it's a negative attitude. So what's another thing that attracts a man?
I say another thing that attracts a guy is, a woman who actually has things going on in her life. She has goals. She has, things she's trying to do, and not necessarily in a sense where, because in today's age we have a lot of women who say, well, I'm doing so many things, I don't need a man. Right. That, not that type of thing. I'm talking about where a woman actually is doing things with her life, and she has something to bring to the table, as far as if they get together and they can build together and they can do things together. And what's even more important is that when a woman has her own thing, a guy sees it as, wow, I'm attracted to her because I feel like she's not going to just be, latching on to me because she has nothing else going on. The guy doesn't want him to be the just
End
the
all
only
be
thing
all.
in life, right? You know, so he wants to know that you have your own hobbies, your own likes, your own dislikes, like, you know, things that's going on with you. And that's really attractive to a guy, a woman who's actually doing things with her life, you know?
Yeah, and I just, I want to add one thing that I always say to my clients, both men and women, is that no one can complete you, someone can only
Right.
complement you. And I think that's
Right.
really, really important because a man doesn't want to feel like he's your entire life, right?
Right. Right. That is true. It's absolutely true. And I would say, you know, one more thing I would say is that, you know, what attracts, you know, men to women is that a woman who kind of like supports what a guy is about, you know, because a lot of times women, you know, they'll see what a guy is doing, or a guy might be, you know, let's say he's working at a job, but he has aspirations to do, you know, run his own business or do anything that he's trying to do, and then he'll run into women who might say, oh, that might not work, that sounds kind of stupid or whatever, and guys aren't attracted to women who are not supportive of his ideas and his goals and his aspirations. So if you are with a man and he's saying, you know, yeah, I want to open up a restaurant, just even saying, hey, that sounds like a great idea. You know what I mean? When you first meet him, if y'all were talking about that, that's going to make him attracted to you, because he's going to be like, wow, she actually thinks my idea is a good idea. And that's what the guy likes, a woman who's going to support, you know, his ideas and really have his back. So that's, you know, a sign that, you know, you're the type of woman he's going to be attracted to, because you're bringing that, you know, energy to him. And real quick, I just wanted to also, you know, bring light to the fact that a lot of these things that I'm talking about have more to do with the type of person the woman is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what attracts most men to women. And a lot of women think, again, it's just about looks. And that's, you know, at first it's like, yeah, we think you're good looking, but at the end of the day, what's going to make a man want to stay with you and want to keep seeing you is more so what's happening internally with you and the type of woman you are. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think your last tip, I think, goes along with the point of being positive.
Right.
You know? It's just about being positive, because there's nothing more irritating than you go to someone, oh, I have this great idea, and they downplay it or they kill it for you, and it just kills everything. So I can totally understand that.
Right. And I would just say to women too is that, you know, just as long as you're being, you know, the best you and loving yourself and being, you know, an awesome woman, that's going to attract men just generally. Because, you know, a lot of times I always tell women this is that, you know, if you be yourself and you be who you are and fully be yourself, you know, you're going to, you know, stand out, you know, automatically, because, you know, we all have our unique things. And when guys meet women, it's kind of like a lot of times guys will meet women who kind of go along with the status quo and go along with what everybody else is saying a woman should do. And you know what I mean? So if you're a woman who actually is unique and has your own ideas and you're bringing all these different things to the table, when he meets you, he's like, wow, I'm very attracted to this woman because I've never met another woman like her. And the only way that even happens, or a man thinks that, is because you're fully being who you are and there's nobody else like you. And the only way that's going to shine is if you're fully being who you are, you know. And I always try to advocate for, you know, women and men just to be, you know, themselves and shine that way, you know?
Exactly. And ladies, I will tell you, it's really about having self-confidence.
Right.
And knowing your self-worth, because when the right guy comes along, he's going to see that in you and he's going to think that's so sexy. And when the wrong guy comes along,
right,
and you're like racking your brain as to why it doesn't work, the girl who's self-confident and knows her self-worth will be able to walk away and know that he's missing out on something great.
Exactly. That's absolutely right.
Okay. Well, these have been some awesome tips. So, Mr. Lucario, how can our audience find you?
Yeah, you can find me at my website. That's mrlucario.com, MrLocario.com. You can check me out there.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you would like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. If you would like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free report on the top 10 secrets on what attracts a man and what turns him off, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.